Hello, fifth graders. Today we're going to go over how to find the area of a circle, how to round decimals, and how to do decimal addition and subtraction, and how to do algebraic expressions. So for the first one, it's finding the area of a circle, and it says find the area of each circle, and we're going to do number 1 and 4 out of 6 problems. And so I wrote down the formula for the area of a circle right here. It's best you memorize it because you'll say it a lot in the future. A equals pi r squared. And A represents the area of a circle. Pi is just a symbol to represent 3.1415, and it goes on. R squared, and the r in that is the radius of the circle. So for number 1, we are going to use that formula to find the area of a circle. So right here, to be able to solve this, we need to know what the radius is. And for number 1, they gave us the diameter. And we know that half of a diameter is the radius. So half of A will be 4. So radius has to be 4. This part is just going to be 4. So pi 4 squared. And 4 squared is 16, so 16 pi. And that's just it. So your area should be 16 pi for number 1. And we're going to do another problem for extra practice. So we see that the radius here is 9. So using that, we're going to fill out the formula. We're going to substitute in 9 for radius. And 9 squared is 81, so we just end up with 81 pi. So the area of a circle for number 4 is 81 pi. For the second section, it's rounding decimals, and we're going to round each number to the place of the red digit, and we see the red here. So we're going to do number 1 and 8 out of 10 problems, and something to keep note of is that, so we're going to look at the number next to the red digit, the number after. If the number after is 5 or greater, then you're going to round up. You're going to round the red digit up. But if the number after the red digit is 4 or less, then you're going to keep the red digit the same. So I'm going to show you through number 1 and 8, I'm sorry. Number 1 is 3.193, and the number after 1 is 9. And we know that 9 fits in the category of this because 9 is greater than 5. So we're going to round up, we're going to round the red digit up. So 3.2 should be your rounded answer. Next, number 8, 2. So we're going to look at the digit right after, which is 4. So we're going to use 4 to determine whether we round up or stay the same. And we know that 4, it fits in the second category, so we're going to keep the red digit the same value. So you're going to end up with 9.12, and that's just it. So it's important to look at the number right after the red digit, and using these rules, you determine whether to round up or keep the red digit the same. And I showed you 2 different examples where you round up and where you stay the same. So the third section we're going to do is decimal addition and subtraction. And we just have to find the sum or difference. You can estimate to check if you want. And so we do, and there's a total of 10 problems. So for number 1 is 5.6 plus 7.8. So when you're placing these numbers vertically, make sure the decimals have to match. Like this. So they have to come down in a row like this. So now let's go from right to left. So 6 plus 8, which is 8 plus 6, which is 14. And 14 plus 7 is 21. So we're going to place the 1 down here and 2 up here. Next, we're going to do 5 plus 2, which is 7, and 7 plus 7, which is 14, 14 plus 1, which is 15, and we end up with 15. So when we're adding and subtracting decimals, it's important to know where you put the decimal. So you just have to follow this down, and you'll place the decimal right here. So you'll end up with 15.1 as your solution for number 1. And make sure the placement of decimals is very important. It's important when you're putting it vertically and when you're putting it in the answer. The last section, which is algebraic expressions, It says write an expression, find the value for number 1 through 5, and it says write an expression with a variable and explain what the variable means from number 6 to 10. So there's two parts to this. So for number 1 through 5, we have to write an expression and we have to find the value. But for number 6 to 10, from number 6 to 10, we have to write an expression with a variable and explain what the variable means. So I picked one number from both sections. From each of the section, I chose number 1, so we can go over this. And I chose number 7 to do the second part. And there's a total of 10 problems. Okay, so let's do number one, and we just have to write an expression and find the value. So it says 11 cars were in the race, and 7 more cars joined the race. So more kind of shows that we're going to be adding instead of subtracting, I'm sorry. So we started with 11 and 7 more joined. So that will make this your expression for number 1. And we just have to find that value. And we know that 11 plus 7 is 18, and this will be our value. And so that's it for number 1 through 5. That's what we're going to do for number 1 through 5. Number 6 to 10 is a bit more challenging since it involves a variable, and explaining what the variable means. It's going to be a good practice. And we're going to go over number 7. It says bought 1 ticket and his classmates bought some more. More shows that it's going to be positive, and some shows that it's going to be a variable. Because some isn't like a specific number, so we have to represent it as a variable. And so I'm going to use the variable x to keep it basic. And so we started with 1, and it says bought some more, and we're going to represent some as x. So we bought some more. And we use addition because it's more. So this would be our expression with a variable. And we just have to explain what the variable means. So in this case, x will represent how many tickets his classmate bought. So if you notice, we're talking about tickets in this problem. So we're going to write how many tickets since we're trying to find, since some represents the number of tickets. And we have to be specific to say his classmates because we're specifically talking about his classmates. So when you're explaining what your variable means for other problems, make sure to keep it very specific. Like for this problem, we wrote his classmate, and we're talking about tickets, and we're buying those tickets. So that's how you would explain what your variable means. And that's it for today.